They thought I disappeared. After the humiliation, the public breakup, the digital dissection of my private life, they thought I'd never show my face online again. They thought wrong. My name is Savannah. I'm 32. A year ago, I deleted every account, wiped the photos, blocked every mutual friend. I disappeared from their world. Not because I was broken, because I was preparing. And now I'm back. New name, new face, new persona that went viral in less than 3 months. They don't recognize me, but I see them. I see who they follow, who they trust, who they cheat on, who they lie to. Because that was always the plan. After Jared, my ex, humiliated me by leaking our private messages and turning my heartbreak into entertainment for his thousands of followers, I realized something. Real revenge isn't loud. It isn't comments or rants or calling people out. Real revenge is invisible. It's when you come back stronger, smarter, sharper, unrecognizable. And when they hand you their trust again, you crush it. So I came back. Into their world. Into their circles. Only this time I wasn't the girl they thought they knew. I was the woman they'd never see coming. My name is Savannah Blake. Well, at least now it is. Once upon a time my name was Leah. But that Leah? She died the day my ex Jared made a circus out of my heartbreak. The day he turned my private messages into public theater. The day the entire Instagram world got front row seats to my humiliation. They laughed. They liked. They made memes out of my tears. I disappeared after that. Shut off my phone. Deleted my accounts. Stopped existing. Everyone thought I ran away. And you know what? They were right. I did run. But not from them. From myself. From the naive soft version of me that thought vulnerability was a weapon. After a year in the dark, I came back. But not as Leah. As Savannah. I built a new name, a new face, a new story. A little bit luxury branding, a little bit mystery. Detached captions. Half smiles and filtered selfies. Articles about the power of personal narrative. All clean. Emotionless. It took me 3 months to slide back into their orbit. And the best part? They didn't recognize me. Jared even followed me. Like 2 of my stories. Twice. Hilarious. He was still the same attention-hungry predator, chasing any shiny thing that validated his fragile ego. But this time, I wasn't prey. I was the hunter. My page was my storefront. They saw only what I let them see. They believed the picture. They forgot that real power isn't in how loud you scream. It's in how carefully you control the story. I started integrating myself into their circles. Slow. Subtle. Smiling when they smiled. Liking what they liked. Letting them think they were in control. They laughed? Now I laughed with them. But they had no idea what I was really laughing at. My game had only just begun. They say revenge is best served cold. I disagree. I think revenge is best served in small, calculated doses. Long enough to make them think they're winning. Sweet enough they swallow every bite. Bitter enough they never see the knife until it's twisting. By month 4 I was in. Not just in Jared's world, but in his girlfriend's. Allison. Poor, sweet, oblivious Allison. She followed me after seeing my branding strategy posts on TikTok. It didn't take long before we were DMing. She thought I was brilliant. Said I had such a fresh perspective on personal identity. I smiled at that. Because I did. Mine was fabricated. And yet it was more real than anything Jared ever offered her. I made sure to be exactly what she needed. Supportive. Empathetic. Not too close, not too eager. Just the cool older sister she never had. And slowly I started planting seeds. Little observations. Gentle questions. Allison, does Jared ever overstep your boundaries online? Just curious, as a fellow woman navigating digital relationships. Oh, I just noticed how he likes to post without tagging you. Could just be his style though. Tiny nudges. Nothing direct. Nothing aggressive. I wanted her to reach the conclusions herself. Because people trust the truths they discover on their own. And Jared? He was too busy trying to get my attention. His DMs started popping up in my filtered inbox. At first subtle. A flame emoji on a story. Then bolder. A message. Love your latest post. Miss seeing creatives like you on my feed. Pathetic. He didn't even recognize me. And why would he? He never saw me before. Not really. He only saw the version of me that cried, begged, loved too loudly. Savannah wasn't that girl. Savannah was the woman people wanted to be. The woman Jared wanted to impress. And now he was the one chasing. I ignored his messages. Deleted them. I didn't need to respond. I just needed him to keep wanting. Because that's the thing about men like Jared, they mistake curiosity for control. And I was more than happy to let him drown in it. Meanwhile, my following grew. Fast. Faster than his. Influencers reposted me. Brands offered me deals. In Jared's circles, Savannah became the name they whispered when talking about next-gen branding. And Jared? He started losing ground. Losing attention. Losing relevance. I could see it in his posts, more desperate, more performative, more hollow. I smiled every time. But inside, I felt restless. This wasn't enough. I didn't just want to be the shadow behind the curtain. I wanted the spotlight. The finale. The public reckoning. And I knew exactly when it would happen. Allison had been planning a live stream. A charity event. One Jared was hosting. One where their perfect couple image would be front and center. I made sure Savannah was invited. Of course I accepted. I wasn't going to miss my own show. And when the day came, I wore white. Clean. Untouchable. The room was full of influencers. Cameras. Brands. And Jared playing host, pretending to care. Pretending to be the charming king of the night. Allison introduced me as the Savannah Blake. The room turned. Eyes on me. Jared froze. Recognition flickered. Flickered. And then realization. I smiled sweetly. Like I didn't know the man sweating across the room had once tried to ruin me. Like I didn't remember every cruel post, every leaked message, every whisper behind my back. The live stream began. And as Jared opened his speech, I knew. It was time. Not yet for the reveal. But for the setup. The trap. I approached Allison. Whispered just loud enough for the nearby mics to catch. Allison, has Jared ever told you about his little project from last year? The one where he made a whole series out of someone's heartbreak. Her face twisted in confusion. No? Huh. Guess he forgot that part. Smile. Walk away. Let the doubt bloom. Let the audience see. Let the cracks form. Because when the camera's on, they'll never admit they're cracking. But the audience will see. And that's the first step. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them speculate. The grand finale? It's coming. And it'll be bigger than any of them ever saw coming. The moment came sooner than I expected. Jared, ever the showman, couldn't resist. Midway through the live stream, while donations rolled in and cameras panned to smiling influencers, he called on me. Savannah, maybe you can share a few words about, personal branding and, rebuilding after tough times? Oh, Jared. So predictable. He thought he was in control. Thought he could put me on the spot, rattle me, reclaim the narrative. He had no idea the narrative was already mine. I smiled. Took the mic. The crowd turned. The chat exploded with heart emojis. I looked straight at Jared. Straight through him. Absolutely, I said smoothly. I think the most powerful thing about personal branding is that you never really know who's watching you. Or how they might see through the performance. Laughter. Some awkward. Some knowing. I kept going. Sometimes people build entire brands on the pain of others. They think it's clever. Edgy. But what they don't realize is the internet never forgets. And neither do the people they tried to erase. The room went still. Allison's smile cracked. Jared shifted. Savannah, I'm not sure that's the vibe we're going for tonight. He mumbled, trying to laugh it off. But it was too late. The chat was already asking questions. Wait, what's she talking about? Who tried to erase her? OMG, is this about Jared? Drama. I looked at the camera. Dead center. Not a flicker of hesitation. Of course, tonight's about charity, I said sweetly. But it's also about honesty. About accountability. And sometimes, about reminding certain people that their past isn't as buried as they think. I handed the mic back. Clean. Precise. Devastating. Jared stammered. Tried to pivot. Tried to joke. But the cracks were visible now. And the chat? The chat saw everything. Clips started circulating within minutes. Jared's awkward laugh. His stammer. My words. By the next morning, the video had been dissected, memed, analyzed. They called it Savannah's silent takedown. But they didn't know the half of it. Because as the internet devoured the drama, I did one more thing. I posted a video. Not as Savannah, but as Leah. No filters. No mystery. Just me. I told you I'd be back, I said quietly. And the comments? They exploded. Thousands of women, men, survivors, saying they saw themselves in me, that they'd been erased, silenced, mocked, but not anymore. The next day, Jared's sponsors dropped him. His following plummeted. He deleted the live stream replay, but it was too late. The internet never forgets. And now, they wouldn't forget me. I didn't need to shout. I didn't need to scream. All I needed was the truth. Delivered at the right moment. In the right room. With the right smile. And Jared? He'd spend the rest of his career trying to rebuild what I dismantled in one night. But he'd never know when I was watching. Because now, I own the game. Winning tastes different when you finally get it. Bitter. Empty. Like chewing on ashes. Jared disappeared from social media within days. His world crumbled faster than I expected. Sponsors gone. Friends ghosting him. Whispers in every DM thread. He tried to post a half-hearted apology. It backfired. More memes. More ridicule. More fuel for the fire I lit. And me? I watched it all from my curated Savannah account. Watched the chaos I orchestrated burn every bridge he ever built. But the satisfaction I thought I'd feel? It didn't come. Not the way I imagined. Not loud. Not euphoric. Just quiet. Heavy. Cold. For the first time since I became Savannah, I stared at my profile and saw the cracks. The perfect captions felt hollow. The staged selfies looked artificial. Because they were. Savannah was never real. She was armor. A mask. A weapon. And now that the war was over? She was useless. I realized I didn't even know what I liked posting anymore. Or if I liked posting at all. My entire new identity was built around revenge. Around Jared. And now that he was gone? Who was I? Leah? Savannah? Someone else? For weeks I hovered between the two. Liking comments as Savannah. Reading DMs as Leah. Two women. Neither feeling real. Until one night, sitting in the dark of my apartment, I did something I hadn't done in over a year. I logged out. For good. I deleted the Savannah account. Every post. Every follower. Every carefully crafted caption. Gone. No goodbye post. No dramatic exit. Just silence. I sat there staring at the blank screen, waiting for the regret to hit. It didn't. Instead, I felt something unexpected. Relief. Like exhaling after holding my breath for too long. I realized revenge gave me power. But power without purpose is just noise. And I was done chasing noise. The next morning, I opened a fresh account. Under my real name. No filters. No strategy. Just me. Leah. Not perfect. Not viral. Not curated. Just human. I posted a single photo. No face. Just my hand holding a mug of coffee. The caption? Good morning. That was it. No likes exploded. No brands called. And for the first time in years? It felt enough. I smiled. Because I finally understood. Control isn't about how many people watch you. It's about choosing what they see. And more importantly, what they don't. Jared would spend the rest of his life trying to clean up the mess I left him. But me? I was done cleaning. I was done performing. I wasn't playing the game anymore. I was rewriting the rules. And this time? They were mine. Living without the mask felt strange at first. Like walking into a room naked. No persona. No curated captions. No strategy. Just me. Leah. I posted when I wanted. I shared what felt right. Sometimes it was a blurry sunset from my apartment window. Sometimes it was an unfiltered photo of my messy desk. No likes exploded. No DMs from influencers. No brands offering partnerships. And yet the peace I felt was louder than any viral post ever was. I started meeting people again. Real people. Offline. At coffee shops. Bookstores. Networking events where no one cared about follower counts. It felt unfamiliar. And maybe that was the point. For the first time in years, I wasn't leading with a digital persona. I was leading with myself. And they responded to that. but the past has a way of echoing back. One evening I got a message. Not to Leah, but to Savannah's old business email. It was from a blogger. They were writing a piece about Savannah Blake's sudden disappearance. They wanted a quote. I didn't reply, because Savannah was gone, and she wasn't coming back. But the message made me realize something. Some people would always only see the avatar, the mask. And maybe that was okay, because I didn't need to explain myself to everyone anymore. I didn't need the last word. I already had it, but I wanted something more. Something that didn't taste like revenge. Something that built instead of destroyed. So I started something new. A project. Not an account. Not a persona. A space. Beyond filters. A platform for conversations about digital boundaries. Ethics. Accountability. Not from the top down. From the inside out. From the people living inside the feeds. I launched it quietly. Invited people who'd been erased. Mocked. Used as content. I didn't tell them my story at first. I didn't need to. They saw it in my eyes. We built together. Workshops. Panels. Guides on how to protect your narrative online. How to spot manipulation. How to set boundaries before you're cornered. It wasn't loud. It wasn't viral. It was necessary. And I loved it. Because it wasn't about me anymore. It was about giving others the mic. The tools. The choice. And that was the most powerful thing of all. The day the blogger finally published the article speculating about Savannah Blake's mysterious disappearance, I didn't read it. I didn't need to. I was too busy building something real. And this time, it wasn't a mask. It was home. It was bound to happen. The bigger my platform grew, the more eyes landed on me. And with more eyes came more questions. More theories. More whispers. It started with a TikTok. An anonymous account. Clips of my speaking engagements. My articles. My interviews. Overlaid with old footage from Savannah's account. They drew circles. Compared captions. Analyzed my speech patterns. Savannah Blake is Leah. And she's lying to all of you. The video went viral. Of course it did. People love an expose. Especially when it's wrapped in mystery and accusations. Suddenly I was trending again. But this time, not as the hero. As the villain. As the liar. My inbox filled with hate. Accusations. People demanding the truth. Others defending me. The internet loves sides. And they picked them fast. My team panicked. We can issue a statement, they said. We can deny. Block. Ignore. But I knew better. You can't silence the internet. And you can't erase the past. I didn't want to. Not this time. Because the truth? It was always there. Hiding in plain sight. I wasn't ashamed of it anymore. I was tired of hiding. So I made a decision. Not a PR move. A choice. I scheduled a live stream. Under my name. No brands. No partnerships. No filters. Just me. When I went live, there were over 50,000 people watching. I took a breath. And I told them everything. From the beginning. No edits. No spin. No victim narrative. Just facts. I created Savannah Blake, I said. Not to scam. Not to manipulate. But to survive. I told them about Jared. The humiliation. The revenge. The persona. The trap. And how it all left me hollow. I told them why I walked away. Why I started over. Why I built beyond filters. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't apologize. I didn't need to. I just told the truth. When I finished, I logged off. No comments. No debates. Just a quiet click. And then I waited. The backlash came first. It always does. You see? She admits it. Fake. Manipulative. But something else happened too. People started posting their own stories. About creating personas to survive abuse. About hiding behind usernames to feel safe. About reclaiming their narratives after being silenced. I realized then I wasn't the only one. And maybe that was the point all along. I'd always said I wasn't the hero. Now, I didn't need to be. I just needed to be human. And let them see me. The real me. No masks. No games. Just Leah. That was enough. And it always had been. The days after the live stream were brutal. My inbox exploded. With hate. With rage. With threats. People who once praised me now called me a fraud. A manipulator. A snake. It hurt. More than I wanted to admit. But I let it happen. I didn't delete. I didn't hide. Because the only way through it was through it. Some of my closest supporters urged me to go dark. To protect myself. To shut down beyond filters. But that would have been the easy out. And I wasn't here for easy. So I did the opposite. I opened the door wider. I scheduled an open Q&A. No filters. No PR team. Just me. And anyone who wanted to ask the hard questions. When I logged on, the comments were brutal. People threw everything at me. Accusations. Doubts. Old screenshots. But I answered every question. Calm. Direct. Without defensiveness. Without spin. Yes, I created Savannah. Yes, I played a part. Yes, I manipulated narratives. And yes, I learned the hard way how empty that made me feel. I didn't flinch. Because the truth couldn't hurt me anymore. I owned it. Slowly, almost painfully, the tone shifted. People stopped yelling. They started listening. Some even shared their own confessions. Savannah was me too, one woman wrote. I did the same thing in a different way. I never thought I'd see someone say it out loud. The comments turned. Not into sympathy. But into space. A space for the messy, ugly, uncomfortable conversations we all avoid online. And that was what Beyond Filters was always supposed to be. Not a stage. A table. For all of us. Not curated. Not perfect. Just real. When the Q&A ended, I sat in silence. I didn't feel like I won. But I didn't feel like I lost either. I just felt whole. For the first time since Jared. Since Savannah. Since everything. I realized this was my real finale. Not a mic drop. Not a dramatic exit. Just a quiet standing in the mess I made. And letting it be seen. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing isn't the last word. It's letting others have theirs. And knowing you're still standing. That was my victory. And it was enough. Months passed. The noise faded. The outrage moved on. The internet found new villains, new scandals, new stories to devour. And me? I stayed. Quiet. Present. Beyond Filters became less about me, more about the people who needed it. Survivors. Creators. Everyday users exhausted from the performative circus of online life. I hosted the first in-person Beyond Filters event in a small coffee shop downtown. No cameras. No hashtags. Just people. Real ones. We sat in a circle. Talked. Cried. Laughed. Shared stories without worrying about who was watching. It was messy. Unfiltered. Imperfect. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. I didn't have to defend my past. I didn't have to explain my scars. They saw them. And they stayed anyway. Maybe that was the real lesson. You don't have to outrun your past. You just have to decide how you'll carry it. At the end of the event, someone slipped me a note. A handwritten one. No username. No handle. Just ink on paper. It read, I watched you the whole time. From Savannah to Leah. You think your story is over. Maybe it's just the prologue. No signature. No name. But I smiled. Because they were right. This wasn't the end. It wasn't even the middle. It was the beginning. Of something real. Of something built without masks. Without scripts. Without revenge. Just me. Leah. Imperfect. Unfinished. Enough. And for the first time in my life, that was more than enough. A year later, everything looked different. Not just online. And me. Beyond Filters had grown into something beyond what I imagined. Not a brand. Not a platform. A movement. Workshops. Collaborations. Community spaces where people could show up as themselves, not as personas, not as influencers. As humans. And me? I no longer posted for likes. For claps. For validation. I posted when I had something worth saying. Sometimes I didn't post at all. And the world didn't end. Funny how that works. The girl who once thought her worth lived in follower counts? She didn't live here anymore. I wasn't her. I wasn't Savannah. I wasn't even the old Leah. I was someone in between. Someone I hadn't met before. And I liked her. She was softer. Calmer. Sharper in the right ways, but without the need to cut. People started inviting me to speak on panels. Not about scandal. But about leadership. Ethics. Building honest digital spaces. I said yes to some. No to others. Because now, I chose what fit me. What fed me. What aligned with the life I wanted, not the life the algorithm rewarded. Sometimes when I opened my phone, I saw new scandals trending, new influencers falling, new names dragged through digital mud. And you know what? I didn't join the dog pile. I didn't comment. I didn't stitch their videos. Because I understood now. That wasn't my fight. Not anymore. I wasn't in the game. I was building something outside of it. And that felt better than any viral post ever could. One evening, after a quiet event in my city, I caught my reflection in the dark glass of a shop window. For the first time in years, I saw myself. Not a mask. Not an avatar. Not a projection. Me. Yeah. Not perfect. Not polished. Just present. I smiled at her. Not a performative, social media-ready smile. A real one. And she smiled back. I walked home that night without checking my phone. Without refreshing notifications. Without wondering who was watching. Because the only person who needed to see me was me. And finally, she did.